The High Power Committee for Implementation of Clause 6 of Assam Accord has issued a public notice requesting groups, social organizations and individuals from across the state to send in their suggestions, recommendations and views on implementation of Clause 6 of the Assam Accord. The committee has said those who desire to be heard in person may indicate their willingness to do so along with their submissions. The views are to be submitted within September 20th. And the committee, headed by former Justice BK Sharma, has put out advertisements in newspapers soliciting views of the public. Clause 6 of Assam Accord provides for constitutional, legislative and administrative safeguard to the Assamese people. And the committee will also formulate an acceptable definition of the term Assamese people. But it is obvious that the term refers to the indigenous people of Assam. And the views of the public has been sought on the following points. Firstly, reservation of seats in Parliament, Assam Legislative Assembly and local bodies for indigenous tribal, indigenous Assamese and other indigenous people of Assam. Secondly, protection of Assamese and other indigenous languages of Assam. And thirdly, reservation and employment under Government of Assam, central government, semi-central government, central PSUs and private sector in Assam. Fourthly, any other measures for protection, preservation and promotion of cultural, social, linguistic identity and heritage of the indigenous tribal, indigenous Assamese and other indigenous people of Assam. And lastly, protection of land rights of indigenous tribal, indigenous Assamese and other indigenous people of Assam.
Yes, the Clause 6 committee, that is the high power committee set up by the government, has actually issued a public notice soliciting views, recommendations and suggestions from groups, individuals and others from across the state to come up with their views, suggestions, recommendations, as I have said, on Clause 6 of the Assam Accord, so that these suggestions can be taken into account by the committee before it sends in its recommendation to the government. As you know, both the state government headed by Mr. Sarbananda Sonowal as well as the central government are extremely serious this time in implementing the Clause 6 of the Assam Accord in letter and spirit. And as you know, the Clause 6 provides for constitutional, legislative and administrative safeguards for the Assamese people, which obviously means the indigenous people living in the state. And now through this public notice, the views of the people on reservation of seats in the Parliament, State Assembly and local bodies, besides reservation in the field of jobs, both central, state government and private sector jobs, as well as their suggestions on whether there should be special land rights for the protection of the land, which is a very critical component for the indigenous people. So on these and several other aspects, this public notice have been given, and the members of the public and social organizations are supposed to come up with their suggestions and recommendations by the 20th of September. Advertisements have come out in the local newspapers. That's it. I think after this exercise, if anybody wants to meet the committee or have a discussion with the committee in person, that is also the public notice says that is also welcome. And I think the meetings are progressing well, and this time there will be definitely a positive outcome of this whole exercise.